Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how are you doing? Today I want to talk about a topic that's related to theatre but is not exactly like a review of a specific show. I want to talk about stunt casting, basically. It's something that we've all kind of experienced probably, it happens all the time in theatre, and it usually brings quite a lot of controversy, and people are completely divided in how they think about it. Today I'm going to tell you my opinions on it, and hopefully we can have a little discussion in the comments below. Now, stunt casting, for anybody who may not know, means that a show, a musical, a play, whatever, hires a famous person, a famous celebrity, to do one of the lead roles, instead of a trained musical theatre actor or actress. So yeah, that's what stunt casting means. So when it comes to stunt casting, people seem to be divided in two different opinions. Some people, and these usually tend to be the very big, avid theatre goers, are completely against it, and they usually avoid shows with big names in it. They're like, oh no, they're not going to be good, or whatever, blah blah blah. The other side of them, and these usually tends to be the general public, people who don't go to theatre as often, actually really like it when there's a big name in a show, because it makes them want to go and see that show. They're like, yeah, let's go and see, if they want to see a show. This is actually a true story. A while ago, a friend of mine, just because everybody knows I go to theatre a lot, she asked me, if I wanted to go and see a show with her sometime, and this is basically how the conversation went. Hey Sam, I know you like theatre a lot and stuff, and do you want to go and see a show sometime? Yeah, of course, I'd love to. I love theatre, so yeah, I'm up for it, of course. Okay, so what do you recommend then? Well, there's that show at the Palace Theatre that's just recently opened. It's really good. I saw it once the other day, and it's really good. It's gotten good reviews so far. Ooh, who's in that show? Well, a lot of great actors, theatre actors. It's a really good cast. Yeah, but is there anyone in it that I'd recognise, like a big celebrity or something? Anyone famous, basically? No, there isn't. And that's the end of the conversation as far as the theatre planning goes. So as hard as it may seem to believe, there are actually some people who only really go to theatre when they like somebody famous with the telly, or a famous band member or something. And you can't blame them, some people don't go to theatre often, can't afford it for whatever reason, or just aren't interested in the theatre as much. And so when they go, they want to see somebody famous, and that's fine, that's completely fine. Now going back to the other side of the argument, the main argument that people who are against stunt casting use, is that it's not fair on trained musical theatre actors. And I kind of agree with that. It's not fair, but the theatre industry in general isn't fair. It's a very tough business. Anybody who wants to go into this business should know this before they enter it. Some things just happen in theatre and just in the entertainment industry in general that just simply aren't fair, but they make sense at the same time, so you have to deal with them. If somebody's opening a new show in London, in the West End, it completely makes sense to have a famous celebrity as their lead character, because that brings in the audience and it helps, spread the word about the show, and people don't want to fail. When they open a new show, people want that show to stay in the West End for as long as it can. So it makes sense, it really does make sense. It's a sad fact about theatre, it just, sometimes, unfortunately, fame means more than talent, and that's just how it is. So now let's go to how I feel about the whole thing. I'll try and explain it through an example. Say two people go and audition for a show. One of them's a trained musical theatre actor who's been in the business for a long time, who's gone to drama school, who's done a lot of plays before, a lot of shows before, very, very talented and experienced. The other person is a singer, a famous singer, a boy band singer or something, who's never done a show before, never done theatre before, but has a good voice, and he's been asked to go and audition for this part, and yeah, these two are basically in the room and against each other. So this is the trained theatre actor, and this is the boy band member who's never done a show before. When they audition, right, when it comes to their talent and how well they can act or sing the part, the actor, the trained theatre actor, might do a bit better than the boy band member because he's done it before. So if we were to rate it, he'd be up there somewhere, just on talent alone. But then that famous boy band member, talent-wise alone, singing-wise and acting-wise, he's going to maybe go up to here, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but just a little bit below the trained actor. Then when you take into consideration the fact that the famous actor is actually famous, that makes up for the fact that he's not necessarily as good of a singer-actor as the other one. So that brings him back up to here, maybe even a bit higher up than this actor. This actor's not really famous, he's only done shows in the West End, nobody really knows him that well, apart from the people who actually work in theatre or see theatre all the time. So now this person's a bit higher up because his name, the fact that he's famous, has helped him get a bit further up than this guy. In this case, I think it makes complete sense to hire this one and let this person play the role. Because obviously he showed that he's talented enough. He may not be as talented as this person, but that doesn't matter as long as he can do a pretty decent job and he's got a name and he's going to bring audiences into the show. It makes sense to hire this person. It's sad, but it makes sense and I agree with it. However, if the same situation was to happen and there was an actor, a trained actor, and a boy band member again, and the trained actor, talent-wise, got up to here, for instance, and the boy band member only got up to here, and there was a big gap between them, this person's talent, the boy band member's talent, just wasn't there really, and the other person was really like considerably better than the other one, then I think you should hire this person. But if there's a little bit of difference between them, like if they're both around the same in terms of their talent and their ability to sing or do the part justice, give it to the name, the celebrity. It makes complete sense. I'm not against them. I really am not. I don't like it when celebrities get cast who obviously can't do the part. Like you see them and you're just like, this is embarrassing, they're not meant to for this role, they're really, really bad. But that doesn't happen often. A lot of the times actually, and I've seen a lot of celebrities actually in theatre, most of the time they surprise me and they're actually really good in the part. That doesn't mean they're necessarily the best person to play the part, like they're not the most talented person, but taking all things into consideration, they are the right person for it, and that's just how it is with theatre. I've seen some great names who've been extremely great in theatre, and I mean I don't want to name them, but like yeah, there's been some really great ones and I think you would agree with me. But there's also been some really bad ones, and again I'm obviously not going to name them, but you can go either way and it just depends on how lucky you are and how much you care about the talent itself, because I think it should be a mix of both talent and name. If somebody doesn't have any talent obviously and has a big name, is a big name, don't hire them. But if they can do the role justice, even if they're not necessarily as good as a musical theatre trained person who can do it better or sing it better, it's fine to give it to the name. It's completely fine, and like I said, it makes sense. And I completely understand the argument that people make about like trained actors and how they go through drama school and pay so much and learn so much and how it's unfair for them to not get the parts and blah blah blah. I understand it and I sympathise with actors who are in that position, but unfortunately it's just how it is. And yeah, I mean actually there's a show a few years ago, I'm not going to name the show, but there's a show and one of the lead actresses in the show was a very famous TV personality, and I went and saw the show and I thought she was actually really good. She wasn't incredible, but she was good and I enjoyed her performance. Then a few months later I found out that one of my absolute favourite theatre performers had auditioned for the same part and was in the final stages apparently, but they decided to give it to that big TV personality instead of to her. And that made me a bit sad because, you know, like I said, this is one of my favourite theatre performers, and I imagined after I heard about it, I imagined her doing the part and I knew for a fact that she would have been a lot better than this TV personality, because I've seen her before in other shows and I know that she can, you know, she can sing better and act better. But that TV personality was still good enough and people, the general public, went and saw her and they loved her. So it's sad and it hurts sometimes. It made me sad when I found out, but it's just how it is. And it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean that people, like names that get cast, should be slated all the time, because sometimes they can prove you wrong and actually be good. And trust me, I think most of them actually want to do a good job as well. And nobody wants to be bad when they're in theatre, so just give them a chance. I always give everybody a chance, even if they're a big celebrity name. And yeah, that concludes my video about this topic of stunt casting. I would love to hear your thoughts on it, so if you can, leave comments and I'll discuss it with you in the comments and see what you think. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.